Hello, my beautiful friends, my whole 23 subscribers. I guess I've been off the scene for a while, and I want to talk to you about integration because I've been doing the real life work of integrating in the world, in the real world. When you get back from wherever you've been for your plant medicine ceremonies, if you've been with me, which some of you have, and some of you have been there while I volunteered, and some of you have kept in contact with me post, going back into the real world. And I feel passionate about integration. I feel passionate about that all my life, about doing the spiritual work and making it work in my real world life, not just as a concept but actually living it. So I have had some experiences recently that make me want to share for me, first of all, because I know it's going to be really, really good for me, and because I feel like you guys know me, you're my friends, you've subscribed and you support me, and I know you love me, so I feel I can do that with you, and yeah, I appreciate your love and feedback on it. So I guess I'm going to just make it short and not too long-winded. I want to just focus on one aspect of my integration first, and then I'll probably maybe do later videos on the other aspects of that integration that I'm still doing, that I'm still a work in progress on. So I guess firstly, I have a dear friend who was in my first week of my retreat in Peru in April last year. My beautiful friend Chris, I honor you, I love you. And she and I went to and through Wachuma San Pedro ceremony, I think around October, November last year. And in that ceremony, I noticed, as well as everybody else in the ceremony, that I was saying really loudly out loud. And if you know Wachuma, it's a daytime ceremony in nature. That I was saying no, no, no externally a lot, and very loudly and very confidently, and also shouting freedom, freedom, freedom. So these words, resonated on some level, and I understood it on some kind of spiritual soul level, but not really, I guess, understanding the full impact of what that would mean until I then went back to my place of birth, where my family were, where I grew up, where my programming, my conditioning, my societal conditioning, my family conditioning, my cultural, religious conditioning, all were created. And it was a very powerful time. It was, a whole month of extreme learning and action, and so I want to talk a bit about that. And I just don't want to get caught up in all the details right now, but I want to talk about the main reason that I'm doing this video. And I guess it's because it's around shame. So I think if we have any awareness of the shadow, Carl Jung's The Shadow, everyone has experience of putting some shame in their lives into that shadow. And I am beginning to recognize just the amount of shame that I have put into my shadow, and that has created such amount of limitation in me and in my life that I am determined to fully heal, release, and let go of. And by no means am I poor me or a victim. I'm absolutely not. I'm doing this to empower myself and to move out of that shadow. So I just want to say that I love my family with all my heart, and that I don't blame anybody. I take responsibility for myself and for my life, and that everything is an opportunity to learn and grow, and that's what I'm doing right now. And so the first thing that happened was when I got to Ireland, I did have to set a boundary for the first time in my life, a very strong boundary with a family member that created a ripple effect and created a reaction within other family members. And those other family members actually made a comment which was in itself shaming, and whether or not it was designed to create shame, that's what I could have gone down that rabbit hole of feeling the shame. And thankfully, because of the plant medicine, because of my conscious awareness, I chose not to go down that road. And I want to explain a little bit about shame, what I've learned, even more so than what I did in life before. So the brilliant work of Brené Brown, who, she talks about shame a lot. She's researched shame. She's an expert in that field. She's written really brilliant books on it. And her definition of shame is the intensely painful feeling that we are unworthy of love and belonging. So if someone is trying to shame you, whether it's be consciously or unconsciously out of habit or their own conditioning, their own emotional environment that they are in, that they've grown up in, that is what it has the power to do. It has the power to make you feel that you are unworthy of love and belonging. And the antidote to that is, because Brené Brown says the less you talk about it, the more it grows, and the secrecy, the silence, and the judgment grow within you. So what Brené Brown says is that shaming cannot survive being spoken. It cannot survive empathy. So that's what I want to talk about, because I have discovered that I have a sisterhood of friends and family who did support me, who did back me. And one of those beautiful friends also listened to two of the memories. So I had two memories that came up that I had suppressed, and they were really, early childhood memories. And I'm not young. I've been around a while. I've done a lot of work. I've been working on myself since I had a child, since my daughter, who's now 20, I made that decision to be the best version of me. And so this is crazy to me that I could still have these two memories that came up that were really powerful shaming memories that stayed in my body. And I'd say I was maybe 5 or 6 for the first memory, maybe 7 or 8 for the second memory. And I'm not a victim of those. I'm just grateful that they have come up in a time where it was part of my ceremony, plant medicine ceremony. Honestly, I think that I realize now that even though I did things maybe in reverse, or it seemed like I did, like at the ceremony in Peru, I was saying no, 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 and freedom, freedom, freedom. And by actually creating boundaries, acknowledging my shame, releasing it, sharing that with other people, I was actually being a powerfully positive human being by saying no and creating freedom in my life. And I do feel much freer for that experience. So the fact that your integration may not work the way that you expect it to, that you may think that you're in the world and things are happening to you, so you need to go back to Peru and do more plant medicine, is actually not what's needed. It's recognizing that even though these experiences seem to be unrelated, they're not. They're actually opportunities that the universe is sending in conjunction with the work we've done in plant medicine to actually live the wisdom that we've learned from the plant medicine. So to live and to put into action a boundary, to say no, to put into action an awareness that I don't have to believe what other people have been conditioned to think also, that I can step out of that. So excuse me for doing this. I'm getting emotional and my nose runs then. I just feel powerfully excited that these realizations are changing. Not changing me, actually, they're making me be real and be who I am, and unashamedly be who I am. And I've tried to mold myself into what has been expected of me, to be what has been acceptable, or I think other people will approve of for most of my life. And I am realizing that I don't have to do that anymore, and that I am enough, and that I've met people like you guys who have helped me see that and see me fully. And am I, some tragic victim? No. Am I a poor me? No, I certainly am not. And are there people out there with greater challenges and problems and childhood traumas? Absolutely there are. So it's not about comparison or making myself, oh well, my pain is not much, so I shouldn't talk about it, or that person's had such a tragic life. It's about acknowledging what is in there, your inner child, and healing that, and that allowing you or me to be the best version of me, to live my authentic truth, to be myself joyfully, so that I can contribute and give fully to the world, to myself, and to enjoy my life, because life is so short. And that's why I am sharing vulnerably with you guys, because you and my sisterhood, the people who I have shared these memories with, I know that you have shown empathy, and I'm so grateful for that empathy. I know that you have loved me and respected me and honored me, and I know that I'm going to go from strength to strength because of that, and I want to be able to do that for you guys and anyone else who resonates with this, and just to share that we're all works in progress, no matter what age, no matter what stage, no matter what amount of success that we've had. We wouldn't be physically in this body if we were perfected. And I am excited to move out of that old conditioning. I'm well aware that I have a lot of fear. By God, have I got a lot of fear still. And that I'm recognizing even more powerfully all my limiting beliefs, all my self-doubt and self-sabotage. And I'm calling you guys to support me to transcend that, because I have a soul purpose and I want to continue to be of service. My entire life has been to be of service. And I think that's one of the things about plant medicine that is not spoken about often enough. It's something that I want to do and I feel passionate about, is the fact that even Don Howard, for example, Don Howard Lawler, my beautiful mentor that I went to Spirit Quest with in those first times that I drank the medicine, has said that he has had people who have drank once, had 1 week of ceremony with him, and 20 years later they're still integrating and utilizing that ceremony and those medicines to continue to grow. And so I don't think it's the amount of times you drink. I think it's the amount of intention and discipline to do the work, the spiritual work, because initially, before it was so well known as a plant medicine by internet spreading the word, it was only people who wanted spiritual evolution. And that's what your trauma is. It's an opportunity to spiritually evolve. And so I'm grateful for the plant medicine, but I'm more grateful to me for doing the work, for having the courage to face people. And I had so much anxiety about setting a boundary that I can't remember if it was actually the night before or the day after that I had this communication with this family member setting a boundary. But it had so much anxiety that I felt it in my chest, I felt it in my stomach. I continuously, when I'm really anxious, go to the toilet over and over again. And I was doing that, and so I was asking with intention in a meditation, like, tell me, body, tell me why you were giving me these symptoms, because I had symptoms in my urinary tract system that was indicating it was connected, not just going to the toilet continuously, it was connected. And so that's when these two memories came up that were massive amounts of shame that had been stored in my body. And by releasing them, by releasing the memories, by bringing them up to my awareness, by acknowledging them, and by sharing them with somebody that I trusted completely, who had great empathy and who listened and who heard me and who acknowledged me and who validated me and who saw me, I felt seen and heard and loved. That was powerful, and that was healing. And that I want that for everybody, but I know that everyone has to be willing to do the work, to do the integration. And that means the intellectual wisdom, the knowledge that you gain from the plant medicine ceremony is such a small part of the process. The biggest part is what life throws at you and how you integrate that wisdom in those life experiences. And I'm far from perfect, and I know that I have a lot to learn and do still. But that whole piece about shame, I think, because I think there isn't a person on the planet that hasn't felt or experienced shame at some level, at some point in their life. And if I can help in any way, promote your own healing in that area if it's needed, then this has been worthwhile. Because honestly, I've had so much anxiety about doing this video. I've been so nervous about putting myself out there. Like, I know there's only 23 subscribers, but if anyone else sees this, I am terrified. I am feeling really vulnerable and full of fear, and I have procrastinated on doing this for a long time. And also, as a woman, an older woman, I'm so self-critical of my appearance. So I am judging myself, looking at myself, and I just want to share that with you guys, because I know that I'm not alone in that. I know that it's common, especially for women, because we're judged on our appearance so much. So I want to include that in part of this sharing. So it's like a confessional. I grew up Catholic, so I know all about confession. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to say that I love you guys. I thank you so much for listening, and I am positively excited that you have been there for me, and that you can maybe provide me either personally or through the channel with some feedback, or share anything that resonates with you on shame, and maybe down the track we can have a discussion on that. And yeah, thank you, my darling friends. Thank you from Bali. It's really hot and humid here, so I'm gonna go take a shower.